Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. One Piece, Eiichiro Oda's epic work, is a milestone in manga and anime, but it hasn't always reached fans the way the creator intended. From the 4Kids dub to subtle adjustments by Toei Animation for family-friendly time slots in Japan, the series faced multiple censorships that changed scenes, dialogue, and even entire arcs. Let's dive into the grand line of edits, based on manga information up to September 2025 and reliable sources, to reveal every time One Piece had its narrative hockey trimmed. Get ready for an explosive guide, with each censorship explained and its impact on the Straw Hat's legacy. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, between 2004 and 2006, 4Kids Entertainment licensed One Piece in the US, but to air it on Cartoon Network during kid-friendly hours, they applied such heavy censorship that it became a joke among fans. The goal was to make the series appropriate for children, but the result was a mutilation that cut violence, blood, deaths, and even Japanese cultural elements. Here are the main changes. Weapons turned into toys. Guns became water guns or spring hammers. For example, in the scene where Helmeppo threatens Kobe with a gun, Chapter 3, Episode 2, 4Kids replaced the gun with a ridiculous old lantern. Weapons of celebrating Marines were replaced with water squirters. Sanji's cigarette turned into a lollipop. Sanji, the smoking cook, had his cigarette replaced with a lollipop in all scenes. While some see this as consistent with his hunger trauma, the change stripped the character's essence and made him look childish. Blood removed. All blood was digitally removed. In Luffy's fight against Crocodile, Chapter 178, Episode 110, Luffy uses his blood to wet Crocodile and hit him. On 4Kids, the blood became sweat, destroying the narrative impact. Deaths retconned. Deaths were softened or erased. For example, Belmere, killed by Arlong in the manga, Chapter 77, was said to be in a dungeon in the dub, creating inconsistencies. The same happened with Kuina, who fell downstairs in the manga, but whose death was vaguely mentioned. Names changed. To avoid references to sensitive topics, names were altered. Smoker became Chaser to avoid mentioning smoking. Portgas D. Ace became Portgas D. Trace, possibly to avoid discrimination against asexuality. Vivian Cobra of the Nefertari family became Nefeltari, perhaps due to a fear of snakes. Scenes cut. Violent scenes were removed, such as Luffy punching Kobe, Chapter 2, Episode 1, or Luffy stabbing under his eye to prove bravery, Chapter 1, Episode 4. 4Kids also cut 20 entire episodes and condensed others, eliminating arcs like Little Garden, Reverse Mountain, and Laboon. Alcohol turned into juice. Scenes with alcohol were altered. Shanks's wine was colored orange, and lines about beer became water or juice. Entire arcs skipped. Crucial arcs like Buggy's Crew, Adventure Chronicles, Warship Island, and Goat Island were cut, reducing 39 episodes. Laboon, essential for the connection with Brook, became an exploded iceberg. Cultural changes and dialogue. Dialogues were Americanized, with jokes based on bad puns. The opening theme became the infamous Yayo rap, hated by fans. Japanese text, like Anchor on Luffy's shirt, was erased. The 4Kids dub was so criticized that it became a joke among fans. Critics like Zach Birchie from ANN called the adaptation poorly acted garbage, and fans on Reddit lamented that it prevented One Piece from being as big as Dragon Ball in the US. In Japan, One Piece airs in a Sunday morning time slot aimed at all ages, which requires adjustments to soften the violence and adult themes of the manga. Toei Animation, responsible for the anime, applied censorships that, although less drastic than 4Kids, still frustrated manga fans. Here are the main cases. Blood reduced or removed. The anime often reduces blood to avoid parental complaints. In the Marineford battle, Whitebeard loses half his face in the manga, Chapter 576, but in the anime, Akainu only burns his mustache, lessening the impact. Other scenes, like Zoro being cut by Arlong, Chapter 92, Episode 41, have blood erased or softened. Offensive gestures altered. Gestures like the middle finger were censored. For example, in the manga, Trafalgar Law makes the gesture at Kid in a Sabaody, Chapter 500, but in the anime, he just gives a sarcastic look. Recently, in 2025, Bonnie at age 5 gives the middle finger to bullies in the manga, Chapter 1098, Episode 1132. But in the anime, she raises a fist, reducing the impact. Extreme violence softened. Brutal scenes were altered. Zeph in the manga eats his own leg to survive, Chapter 66, but in the anime, he loses it while saving Sanji from chains at the sea bottom. Luffy stabbing his face, Chapter 1, was cut, and Bellamy stabbing and burning a man in the manga, Chapter 231, became just a kick Tick in the anime. Desexualization. Female characters' clothing was adjusted. Vivi's shirt, with suggestive circles in the manga, chapter 111, became stripes in the anime to avoid sexual connotations. Robin had her neckline covered in some scenes. Sensitive symbols. The Manji symbol on Whitebeard's Jolly Roger, a Buddhist symbol, was altered in the West for resembling the swastika. In the anime, it was replaced with a cross, or removed. These changes reflect the pressure of airing One Piece in a child-accessible time slot in Japan. Fans on Reddit criticized this, especially because the manga targets teens and adults. Besides 4Kids and Toei, One Piece faced censorship in other countries. Turkey. The series aired for only 52 episodes due to behaviors considered unacceptable, like Sanji's womanizing and Zoro drinking. Latin America. Some dubs, like the Latin American one, infantilized the series, with Sanji smoking lollipops. The Netflix redub in Latin American Spanish, however, removed visual and dialogue censorship. South Korea. Knives and bladed weapons are blurred in TV anime, including One Piece due to local restrictions. Even after 4Kids, censorship persists. In 2025, episode 1132, Egghead Arc, shocked fans by censoring Bonnie giving the middle finger, even in a nighttime slot in Japan, showing that Toei still avoids gestures that children might imitate. The revelation that Bonnie is 12 years old, chapter 1098, also made fan service scenes with her, like at the start of Egghead, uncomfortable, though not directly censored. Other cases include Impel Down Arc, spiked clubs like the Minotaurs were softened in the anime to avoid torture themes. Alabasta Arc, the scene of Nami showing her breasts in the bath, chapter 160, was not censored, but fans think it should have been. Tattoos and text. Tattoos, like aces and Japanese text, were erased by 4Kids to avoid negative behavior. 4Kids censorships are seen as a historical mistake, with critics and fans agreeing that they ruined the series in the US. Funimation, now Crunchyroll, fixed this starting in 2007, with a faithful dub and no visual cuts, restoring the manga's spirit. The new adaptation, The One Piece by Wit Studio, promises to avoid censorship, keeping the manga's brutality, such as the scene of Nami asking Luffy for help. Chapter 37, aiming to attract both new and old fans. Why so much censorship? In Japan, Toei adapts the anime for a broad audience, while 4Kids try to Americanize One Piece for kids, ignoring its mature tone. Fans on Reddit suggest that the manga is the best way to experience Oda's vision unfiltered. Still, censorship shaped the perception of One Piece in the West, but with Netflix and Wit Studio, the future looks more faithful to the original. Conclusion. One Piece suffered from censorship ranging from ridiculous lollipops to entire arc cuts, especially in the 4Kids era, which turned guns into toys and blood into sweat. Toei also softened violence and gestures for morning TV, frustrating manga fans. Despite this, the series survived, and with Funimation and the One Piece, Oda's vision is more alive than ever. So grab the manga, set sail with Luffy, and enjoy the adventure uncensored. Which censorship annoyed you the most? Comment and let your hockey shine in the new world. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.